Okay, so again, good morning. We will wait for other people. Siguro mga 1 minute more, ha? 1 minute more. Kahit umabot lang tayo ng 50. Okay, start na tayo, ha? Okay, so the next lesson will be on corporate restructuring. Corporate restructuring. Now, restructuring includes business combinations where two or more firms will combine to become a single economic entity. They may be still divided into separate legal entities, but with a parent subsidiary relationship, it's possible that they move as one economic entity. It also includes the opposite. The opposite is divestiture, divestiture or divestment, where they would separate from one another. Okay? When it comes to business combinations, to be specific, acquisition by an acquirer. Okay, acquisition by an acquirer. The target firm's management would like to prevent this from happening. Ayaw nilang mangyayari ang mga ganitong bagay. Okay? Whenever a company is being targeted for acquisition, the tendency for managers, the top management of the company, the tendency is that they would be defensive and they would set up their own defenses. Okay? So among those defenses include this one. Which one of the following is a strategy wherein a firm elects only part of its board each year? I will give you 30 seconds to answer. Go. Game. Enter. Enter now. Okay. So we call this staggered POD. In the Philippines, it's legal for us, no, to elect only one-third of the board each year. So say, for example, there are 15 board members. Each board member will have a term of 3 years. What we can do is to elect only five of them, no, each year. So only five of them this year. And then the term ends for the next five next year. Elect ulit tayo ng five. And then the next five the next year. Tapos yung first batch, mag-e-elect at the fourth year ulit, no? For the election. Okay? We call this staggered board of directors. Now, in a lot of instances, this is not good, okay? I would like to emphasize that this is not good. In a lot of instances, management is close, no? Friends sila ng board of director. So, whenever the shareholders become aggravated, no? They become agitated, gusto nilang palitan yung managers, they have the tendency to elect those board members that are in no way related to the management, yung hindi kaibigan ng management. What the managers do to prevent this from happening is to make the election every year for only one third of the members of the board. By doing so, by doing so, the risk that all of the board members will be against management is reduced. Okay? Sabi ng manager, sige, one-third lang ng board. Para kung meron tayong masamang taon na galit sa atin ang mga shareholders, ang pwede natin gawin ay mag-elect lang tayo ng one-third. Hindi mawawala yung majority. Okay ba? So you call the staggered BOD. Next. Which of the following makes a firm less attractive to acquiring firm? By taking out a significant amount of debt and distributing large cash dividends to shareholders upon acquisition. No? This happens upon acquisition. I will give you 30 seconds to answer. 30 seconds to answer. Okay ba tayo? Sige. 10, 9, 8, 7. Excuse lang. Okay, I'm back. Enter now. Enter your answers now. Okay. So this is what we call recapitalization. Leverage recapitalization. Leverage pertains to the use of debt. Okay? Sabi ng firm, para hindi tayo i-acquire ng acquiring company, no? Ng hostile takeover, para hindi tayo mag-acquire, make it difficult for them. Make it risky for them. Taasan natin yung financial leverage natin. How? Taking a significant amount of debt. Tapos, yung retained earnings, ubusin mo, no? Ibigay mo sa mga shareholders, gawin mong dividends. By doing so, the firm becomes less attractive as a target. Leverage recapitalization. Ayan, ayaw nang ituloy yung acquisition. Next question. Which of the following is a defense? A defense ang hinahanap natin, no? Against corporate takeovers that still result in the firm being acquired by another firm. 30 seconds. Go. Okay, enter. Nako, i-acquire tayo. Okay, masyado kasing bagsak ng stock price natin. Alam ko na, kung magpapa-acquire tayo, dun tayo sa knight with shining armor. Yung poprotektahan tayo, sabi ng management. So maghahanap sila ng kaibigan nilang company, no, na close sa management nila, para kung i-acquire man sila, hindi sila tanggalan ng trabaho. No? Ang natatakot kasi mga managers dyan, kung ma-acquire, papalitan sila. Okay? Now, the tendency when your stock price becomes low, it becomes attractive for other companies to acquire you. Okay? So kung meron kang mga kaibigan, pwede sila maging knight with shining armor. We call this a white knight defense, no? It will be acquired by a white knight, no? ang pwede nilang gawin, sila na mismo mag-acquire sa company at huwag ibenta doon sa gustong mag-acquire sa atin. White knight defense. Paano kapag maliit lang yung company at hindi niya kayang bilhin yung company, pero kaya niyang bumili ng konting stocks, no? We call that white squire defense. Next question. Okay, 30 seconds. In everyone, enter. Enter. Okay, large payouts to executive release as part of the acquisition. Okay, kung wala na silang magagawa, matatanggalan sila ng trabaho, sasabihin nila, basta makompensate yung nawala sa atin. No? So kung ipapatapon natin sila, if the company is going to throw them away from a flying airplane, might as well they receive a golden parachute. No? Papalayasin man sila sa aeroplano, ginto-ginto naman yung dala nila. Okay? So this is the last resort of executives, no, who have already accepted their fate. So in order for them to have an exit that will still make them win, golden parachute. If the company will be acquired and we will lose our job, our separation pay is 100 times our monthly salary. Nako. Eh? Golden parachute ang tawag dyan. Letter boy. Now, whenever you're going to make a policy, no, from the side of government, if you really want to prevent greed from happening in society, it would be, you cannot prevent greed, no? If you would like to destroy greedy people, no? What you should do is to make acquisitions easier. Make hostile acquisitions easier. It will discipline the managers to work for the better of the firm, maximizing the shareholders' wealth instead of simply maximizing their paycheck. Nowadays, we can see a lot of corporations where the executives are very overpaid. No, I'm not the one to judge that they are overpaid, but sometimes it's because they can set up defenses. To prevent this from happening, yung hindi naman kumikita yung company, pero yung CEO ang taas ng sahod, we should enact policies that would make it easier for corporate takeovers to happen. Okay? Okay. When do we say that an acquisition takes place? An acquisition takes place when a firm blank go. Enter. Enter everyone. When does an acquisition takes place? When a firm buys a controlling interest in another firm. Generally speaking, the general rule is 51% of the controlling interest. So 51% of the voting shares, common shares yan, no? Then you already have control over the firm. Yun yung meaning ng controlling interest. Okay. Business divestiture naman tayo. So when we can combine, we can also separate companies into its different, or maybe just a part, no? We can separate a part of the company from the main company. Which of the following is not a type of a divestiture? Which of the following is not a type of a divestiture? Go. Game. Not a type of a business divestiture. Okay. When acquisition and business combination is about combining two entities to become one, divestiture is the opposite. Okay? I would like you to imagine the following company. Ha? Imagine nyo the following company. Ito yung mga shareholders. These are the shareholders. Now, we have here a company represented by the circle owned by the shareholders. Now, however, a part of this company, a division in the company or a subunit, has a very different nature of business. And therefore, the style of management should be different. How to motivate employees, baka dito kailangan mas liberal, mas innovative, while the main company is more conservative, or any some sort of different. Okay? Any some sort of difference between this entity, this subunit from the entire entity. Okay? What can we do about this? What we can do about this is we're going to spin off. We're going to spin off this unit. Okay? Ibibigay natin sa shareholders natin yung stocks ng bagong company, pero ihiwalay na natin itong unit because the style of managing this would be different. Okay lang? At the end of the day, this is what you're going to have. This is what your shareholders are going to have. You have the main company still, and then nakahiwalay na, no? Nakahiwalay na yung maliit na entity. The newly formed entity is still under the ownership of the shareholders. That's a spin-off, no? You make the two, you take a part of the entity and turn it into a new one. Now, it is also possible that you would need more funding in this new entity. Ang pwede natin gawin dito, magbibigay naman tayo ng bagong shares sa mga bagong shareholders. We declare an IPO, mag-IPO tayo, and then sell a part of the ownership to other shareholders. So hindi na yung 100% equity mapupunta dito sa existing shareholders. This is now called an equity carve-out. Talinaw? So after a spin-off, if you're going to have an IPO and you're going to sell a part of the company's shares, no? Equity, that's already called an equity carve-out. Meanwhile, a split-off is something different. Kapag meron ng company na sobrang malaki, the government can chop it into different pieces. Okay? Ginawa na ito ng government dati, no? So in a split up, what the government can do is to chop a large company into pieces. Okay? A large company into pieces. Okay, you may read AT&T, no? Yun yung parang PLDT ng Amerika. We call that a split up. A merger is the opposite of a divestiture. The correct answer is letter dog. Okay? The correct answer is letter dog. So which of the following is not a type of business divestiture? Letter dog, merger. This is a combination, while the rest are divestitures. In which of the following types of business divestitures does a firm sell a minority interest in the newly created firm? Go. Game? Ano yan? Enter. Enter now, everyone. Okay. Kapag ibenta yung minority interest ng newly created firm, it is more than a spin-off. We call it an equity carve-out. In an equity carve-out, a portion of the interest in the new firm will be sold to other shareholders. Pwedeng magkaroon ng IPO, no? I-initial public offering natin iyon. Boy. All of the following transactions can be classified as divestitures, except the sale of blank. All of the following transactions can be classified as divestitures, except the sale of blank. Game? Okay ba tayo? So what's the answer here? Divestiture yan lahat except one. Enter. Enter your answers, everyone. Alin dyan ang hindi natin mako-consider as divestiture? Okay. Operating division is sold to another firm in exchange of cash and preferred stock. Okay, this is a divestiture. Operating division sold to a group of managers in a leverage buyout. Pag leverage buyout, yung managers nangutang ng malaki para bilhin yung company. Tapos i-collateral nila yung company mismo. This is also a divestiture. Selling a subsidiary asset for cash with buyers also assuming any liab. Acquisition of net assets. Tinuro to sa inyo sa advanced accounting, no? Yung accounting treatment ng acquisition of net assets. Now, the correct answer here is letter boy. Tama ba? Letter boy is nothing but a simple business, no? A company's inventory is sold in the normal course of business. And that's only business. Okay? There's nothing unique about it. There's nothing unique about it. No? A company's inventory, ibebenta sa normal course of business. Okay? So that would conclude our discussion on corporate restructuring.